In a
Let's do,
meeting. I'm in a meeting. Okay, bye.
I'm with David Fishman and he's already being booked for travel. So that's a good sign. I always tell people, like, this week I've been talking to people and their phones are going off. They're getting knocks on their door. So the good news is that's good. But
Yeah, they're buzzing.
they're buzzing. David Fishman of Cadillac Travel, one of my oldest clients. Not that you're the oldest.
Oldest? Let's rephrase that. One of your longest clients.
Oldest.
And dearest
Oldest.
friend. Okay.
No, one of my youngest clients. How's that?
certainly at heart.
Yeah, for sure. You were one of my longest running clients. Everybody should know that. But we have so much fun together because I always say there is never a dull moment or something that we can't put out there to the media about travel. And you and I have talked about this. I mean, on the internet alone, there's more sites to look at.
And the travel is the largest industry in the world and the most sites on the internet.
I also say
so much information. Yeah,
for sure. I also say when you're bored, where do you go? You can either shop online or you can shop the where do you want to go next? Not that you should book your travel, and we're going to talk about that. But David, I want to back up way at the beginning of your start. How'd you get into the travel business?
Oh boy, let's see.
I start from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. I was because I've been doing this for almost 38 years now. I started when I was 3. I was a child prodigy.
Yes, you were.
Because I couldn't be that old, but apparently the beard is showing it. I was actually living in California working in advertising. And a friend of mine, a dear friend, kept calling me up and said, let's do this, let's do this. And he said, let's do travel. We'll be able to travel all over the world. We'll take out groups of people. We'll help people help dreams come true and help people with amazing experiences. And so I loaded up the truck and I moved from Beverly Hills, California to Beverly Hills, Michigan.
Oh, so that song was written about you?
Yes, it was. The Beverly Hillbillies was based on Cadillac Travel. They kind of stole it. So I moved back and literally started a travel management, travel company agency from nothing. I was boxes in a warehouse against the wall with an OAG official airline guide and a telephone. And we hired a manager, and that was the beginning of our business. And we've continued to exist and grow through all the different changes that have happened and challenges along the way.
So I think, one of the reasons I actually love working with you is how innovative and creative you are. And I say that not because you're my client, but really because it's true. Because I think that, growing up, my parents always used a travel agent. There wasn't the internet, you couldn't surf that, obviously. And my parents loved to travel. And I always felt like our travel agent, I actually thought she was like a member of our family. She was also someone my father would yell at, like a member of our family, because, the good news was if something happened, you wanted to call your travel agent and you wanted to get them on the phone and get you out, if something happened. But the truth was, the difference was when I started working with you, what I saw was the innovation, the creativity. And it wasn't because you booked travel. It was the marketing part of you, the way you really thought about how you did your business. And I think that a lot of people, and I really have thought about this, and we've talked about it, is that I think people sometimes think, well, I'll go online and I'll book my own travel because I can do that. I can search the sites, I can find my deals. But one of the reasons I love when people use you is you add this element of marketing. It's these programs that you come up with, these ideas that you bring to the table to people.
Well,
Um,
because the thing about the internet or just booking travel on your own as well is that the internet is a one size fits all. Okay. They don't look at you as an individual. They look at you as a mass.
mhm.
So it's really important on many levels. First of all, we have over 400 years of travel destination knowledge in our office. So when we talk to people, I tell people I've never sold anything to anybody. What I do is I help people have the type of experiences and do the things that are going to work for them. So it's like an interview instead of planning travel is an interview for me. It's like what do you love?
Mhm.
You know what what if you absolutely had no idea, never traveled before in your life, I could actually plan a trip for you that would make work for you because I'll ask you questions like you know, what do you like to do? What restaurants do you eat at?
Mhm.
What bars do you go to? What activities you like to do? Are you a foodie? Are you like going to museums? These are the kind of things that help me, or do you sit on a boat or go to the beach? These are the kind of things that allow me to tailor and allow the people that I work with to tailor a vacation to someone's needs. So when they go, they know that they're actually going and doing something that will be an amazing experience based on what they love.
Yeah.
So this is working with people with their needs and desires that fit their life. Not like I always say, what size shoe do you wear? People look at me like I'm crazy, and I go, okay, so I wear a size 8. I go, you don't mind if I sell you a size 12, do you?
Right.
That's what the internet does.
Right.
So that's where my passion comes in regards to making people have incredible experiences. And the other part of that experience is you're never alone from the beginning planning to the why you're traveling to when you get back. Any situations or issues or concerns you have along the way, you have an advocate 24/7 that are going to be there to make sure that everything runs smoothly so you can enjoy your vacation, enjoy or even your business trip. So to make sure you
Well,
focus. So
and I think the other component of that, and you mentioned, is your incredible staff has experienced those, whether it be travel for their own fun, but also the business side of the travel. They go and they do, and
right, like
so
like I'm someone in our office and it may be me next week after next after the holiday, we're going to go and we're going to go to Cancun. We're going to go, we're going to fly, we're going to go to the hotel, we're going to do all those things to see what are they doing, okay,
mhm,
what's happening. And I'm also next week going to the airport. I was invited by Delta Airlines, and I'm going to go walk through from walking in that airport to the counters to the planes to all the steps to getting your bag. What are they doing to make sure that when I send our people, when they come to us, they ask those questions: is it safe? Is it? I'm going to walk the walk. I'm going to go do it
right.
for them so they know what they can expect.
Well, and I think that's really important because, here we talk about, and you do a lot of news segments in town, and, it isn't, I love, this is where you're going.
I had to go, because not everyone just wants to be in the clouds and fly. Some people want to go to the
I
beach.
want to be on the beach.
So,
But, we do a lot of news segments. And, I think the news wants to sometimes tell the bad story. But the truth of the matter is, we've got to open it up. Earlier today, I spoke with Barry Kaplan in the hotel management world. He flew in from Philadelphia to Detroit. I know that some of your staff, I believe Keith, who works for you, he flew to Florida a couple of weeks ago. And I love it because they're showing pictures, they're showing people on airplanes. They're beginning to show, which is so important, how the airlines and what they're doing, because people have to start experiencing. And whether, around Memorial Day, we did a couple segments about get in your car. We live in a great city where we can drive up north or drive to Chicago. Barry and I talked about the hotel component of it. if you drive somewhere, what does the hotel industry look like? You're going to talk, going to show and talk about, here's what the airports look like. Here's what it looks like on an airplane. The truth is that people are nervous, but they want to go.
Oh, there's so much pent up demand right now. Like everyone I talk to, there's someone put out there, if you got $5,000 today, this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, what would you do with it? And more than 80% of the people said travel.
Yeah.
That was their main thing. People want to travel. Let me tell you something. When you can't travel, you really want to travel. When you're stuck in your house or you're limited to where you can go, even if it's out to dinner or to a concert or anywhere, you realize how important it is to have that availability to see the world, see this country, see the world, and get out and have those experiences, because that's what really counts in life.
Yeah.
I mean, your family, we had a check, we had a balancing, a kind of a rebalance. I feel like we realized how important our families are. But what we really found out is, besides our homes, which people are doing a lot with their homes right now, which is fantastic. The next part is not the things that you gather, but more the experiences that you have with your family and friends. And you realize when we're going through a unique experience, it's good to go through the better experiences that we hope to go through and will go through in the future. That's what's really important, are the experiences we collect, not the toys and bells.
Well, and it's interesting because I think everybody's had so much time on the internet. The traffic, I say, on the internet's been so crazy.
TikTok.
I don't TikTok. I tell everyone I don't TikTok, but it's interesting because a lot of people have started, show, day 1, day 2, and these pictures, and they are all travel, and showing these memories that people make with their families, or, memes and things like that. Where will you go next? And I think that, people are thinking about it. They're thinking about how to do it. And, we all traveled after 9/11. We took our shoes off, or we put our 3-ounce bottles and 4-ounce bottles, into a bin, clear bin. And we did all those things, and we will do them again, whatever, they tell us.
12-ounce bottle of hand sanitizer.
Yes, now we can.
Don't figure, 12-ounce bottle.
Yeah, who knew? My hair gel will be taken away, but I can have
they can't get your toothpaste or your hair gel through your shampoo, but you'll get 12 ounces of hand sanitizer.
That's
so
right.
Wash your hair and, with it.
That's 100%. So I do want to talk a little bit about this, and it's been hard on you. The travel industry took a slam. I mean, there's just slam. You, as a business of 38 years, the airlines, I think, we look around at local businesses, some will come back, some restaurants will not, and things like that. The travel world, some places, same thing, will come back, some won't. Talk to me about, back in March, really, you do some innovative things with spring break. Some people got off and came back, and then that was it. Where are you now? What are you seeing? What are people doing? What are they thinking about? Are they thinking about Christmas?
They're definitely 100% thinking about where they can go. There's kind of like 3 groups of people. The first group is like, I'll go anywhere. What's open? Just tell me where I can go and I'm going. The second group of people are, I want to go, but I want to feel safe and comfortable. So how do you how you help me out with that? And then the third group are, I'm never going anywhere again. Okay. So, they'll get over that and they'll move on. But in the meantime, the key is just understanding that there's so much flexibility in regards to your reservations now, and it's really going to be important. And I know people really balked at it in the past, but insurance is an important thing to have. They won't cover.
Can you walk people, and some people are listening now and people will listen later. I want to slow down on the insurance because there was a lot of conversation, especially in March, about insurance. Like there's the insurance that when you're like, let's just say Delta, I am a Delta girl. Not everybody, you know.
They'll love to hear that.
We know my husband.
Right.
He pretends.
Yes.
David and I laugh a lot. My husband would love to be a travel agent at Cadillac Travel, but
he's working on it. It's his second career.
His second career one day. He'll retire and work for you. Yes. But you know, I love Delta, and you know, you get to the bottom and it says, "Do you want insurance?" I just click it. I don't even know really why. I just do.
Well, it's going to be what's really going to be important right now is understanding the types of insurances. I mean, a lot of people were disappointed and upset during this period of time because pandemics are not covered, which is really frustrating. Okay. It's frustrating for me. As you mentioned with the business interruption, I thought that would be part of my business policy, and it was not, because pandemics are not covered.
Is it considered Mother Nature? Is that the...
I'm puzzled by sometimes what insurance covers. That's why it's really important to have this conversation that we're having right now, to really know what is going to be covered when you are making your travel plan, so you know that you are covered for whatever you need to be covered for. Okay. And you know, first and foremost, any type of illness, when you book your travel, even if it's just a deposit, as soon as you put money down, you must take your insurance, depending on the insurance company, within 7 to 14 days. Some are up to 21 days for covering pre-existing conditions, for example. So that's important right off the bat. If you have any issues, you want to make sure that you get that done. Besides that, then you start running into, well, pandemics aren't covered. Then how do I protect myself if it does come up again and I want to cancel my trip? And let's say that the vendor didn't cancel it, because if a vendor canceled it, and a lot of times you're going to get your money back, but not all of them. So it's important to know what the vendors are doing as well in regards to what they're going to do if something gets shut down. Like the cruise lines have returned money or gave you a voucher for 120 to 130% of your cost going forward.
Was it better during this pandemic to wait to see what the vendors did, or to be ahead of that? What did you find?
I think that it's always, and going forward, it's always going to be better to be ahead in regards to the insurance portion of it, because some vendors may go out of business. Okay. And we've had that situation where vendors have gone out of business. And so if you don't have insurance, that's not going to help you, whether it's a pandemic or whatever the rules are going to be. Okay. And some vendors didn't give the money back. They just gave vouchers. Okay. And, you know, some did give a choice between a voucher and or the money back. So it varied a lot. So that's where the different types of insurances are going to be important. There's basically 4 or 5 major travel insurance companies. And like, for example, one of the major ones dropped cancel for any reason right after the pandemic. They decided we're not going to do that anymore. So, but there's a few that still do. So that's the one in particular that's going to protect you in regards to if you just want to cancel because you decide I'm not comfortable anymore. So, or I have a situation where I can't go, that's not a covered situation. Okay. So, or I decided maybe I want to go someplace else. So it's just nice to have that greater flexibility, and then knowing what the rules are going to be at that hotel. Like Marriott's gone to a 24-hour cancellation right now. Mm-hmm. They were at 2-hour cancellation for a while. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to keep evolving. It's going to continue to be a moving target in that type of situations. Also, it's important to know even about the destination you're going to step outside of insurance for a minute, to know what the rules are going to be for that destination. Right now, there's 3, everyone thinks, oh, the United States is open. No, it isn't. There's 3 states that you'll be quarantined for 14 days right now if you go there. New York,
and I'm finding, and I think that what's important about that more so is that's a moving target, and that also keeps changing as well. I mean, we're seeing, different states changing on a daily basis as their numbers shift. I mean, you and I talked, and we did a segment just recently about some hotels. And one of them we highlighted was, things opening in Las Vegas. Well, we've seen a bump, just in the last 10 days as Las Vegas opened,
Right.
a big bump in Las Vegas. Now, some of that is not so unexpected as more people travel someplace. There might be a bump somewhere.
Right.
It's unknown. There are those factors.
That's why it's important to, it's, our role, and as you started this out in the idea that to do it yourself, our role has become even more important, I
Yeah.
feel. And a lot of people feel it's like, I don't ever want to go down this road. It's my favorite was, and just let me add the two other places, just so you know, are Alaska and Hawaii, which Alaska's, their whole season's basically gone because there are
Yeah.
seasons from May to September, which is really sad, except the people that like the more active adventure in the wintertime there. But
Mhm.
that's their main season, and that was really shut down. In Hawaii, which is a huge destination, it looks like they're going to open up hopefully July 15th or July 30th. But right now they're on a 14-day quarantine. So,
Okay.
but it's really going to be important to know what you can do, where you can go, how you can go, what's your flexibility, what the insurance covers. Like, for example, someone asked me, well, wait a second, with the insurance, if I go somewhere and I get COVID and I get really sick, let's say, and I'm in a hospital, can I come home because I have the insurance? Well, you're not coming home on a regular airline, right?
No.
They're not going to let you on the plane.
No.
So how do I get home? Guess what? You do get home if you have insurance, because they'll medevac you out on your private plane, depending on how sick you are or what your needs are. They're going to get you out.
Interesting. Okay.
So, these are things that people just don't know. And it's so important to know what you can do and what you can't do, so you can enjoy not only going away, but planning to go away and feel comfortable with the whole process.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Why do you think people, I don't want to say, I hate to use them. Why do you think people are just not smart? Oh, okay, we'll go there. Why do you think people are not smart?
California's opening up.
Why don't they use a travel agent? And I'll tell you, like, is it that they think it's expensive to use a travel agent? Or what is it about this mentality of?
Yeah. Well, there's a few things there. One, you did mention some people think it costs more, and more than, and I'm not going to say 100% of the time, because if you spend enough time, there's a good chance you'll get the same rate, sometimes better. I like to say, like, airline tickets are like the weather in Michigan. Wait 5 minutes, they'll change.
Well, my favorite game, like many people, you sit on an airplane and go, how much did you pay? How much,
Oh God.
It's fun.
I hate that game. Actually.
I know, I love that game.
It's so annoying because people just get upset. You got this flight for how much?
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's like owning one of these cell phones.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing. You can't get mad about it. It's the truth.
Yeah. So the multiple reasons. A, they think that we cost more, which usually 75 to 80% of the time, at least, we cost less, and we improve your benefits.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a perfect example is like a lot of people that travel corporately, and they do it all themselves at their business. And I said, are you on a frequent flyer program? They go, yeah. Do you know that there's frequent flyer programs for corporations? They go, what? They go, yeah, everyone that travels at your company, it goes into a pool, and it's for the whole company that earns points. So that's free travel. They're giving away free travel. Most people don't even know about it. Mm-hmm. So knowledge is hugely important. But so the reasons, so we don't cost more. Okay. We usually most of the time cost less or improve your benefits. But that's one of the reasons why. The other reason why is I am a French model because it says so online, meaning everyone's an expert. I can get you a mortgage right now. You don't mind. I can also diagnose you. I can go to WebMD. I can also take care of your insurance. And,
then they need to go to my blog where a few months ago I said, I wrote a blog about hiring an expert. Don't be your own expert.
Well, that's the thing. The internet is
made everyone an expert.
Great, fantastic information source, but it really doesn't make you an expert.
Right.
But you think you are because it tells you. The thing that blows my mind, that TripAdvisor is a real thing. Okay, because I've seen stories on Dateline and Primetime where they have hundreds of thousands of people writing reviews for businesses on TripAdvisor and different things along those lines, and for different products and different things. You just don't know who you're talking to. Who's writing this? It goes back to the one size fits all. It's like, you shouldn't go to certain hotels because you won't be happy. You shouldn't go to certain places because you won't be happy. Okay, if I send you,
it's like people don't realize about Yelp reviews and things like that, and it really, I guess, it falls on me as your publicist, to really make sure that people understand that value, and it certainly falls on you to always be talking about the value, because it really doesn't. It's the value is really the benefit of using a travel agent. And, I always tell people, I want them to use you, obviously, but like anything, you have to put that travel agent in as part of your family. Whether you fly business, in a corporate situation, whether you fly, for your family, I don't care if you fly once a year and it's a big trip. When I've walked around Disney World and I see a family of 10 and I think, oh my God, what did that cost them?
Besides knowing it, I mean,
well, you want the best out of your vacation. If you're going away once a year.
Well, here's the other part that people don't take into account. So there's other pieces to the internet puzzle, shall we say, and why people do it themselves, but they don't realize it. The average individual spends 27 hours planning a 4-day vacation. Average individual goes to 11 different websites before they book an airline ticket. So what's the most precious commodity on the face of the earth? Time.
Absolutely. Your time.
Cannot get time back. We're realizing that right now. We're not getting these 3 months back that we couldn't do all the things we wanted to do. Time is precious. So one of the things we do, besides the expertise, is we save a ton of time. And then at the end of the day, you mentioned this as well. So no fake news. You got people that have traveled there, been all over the world. So you're getting accurate information, not just someone just writing something that doesn't affect it. You're saving time. Okay. You're making sure that, here's the other thing that goes on the internet that people don't realize. And I tell people this all the time. When you go online and you go shopping for something, put it in your cart. I just did this the other day. Put it in your cart. Wait about 10 minutes. Don't buy it yet. Wait 10 minutes. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get a coupon for a discount to what's in your cart, which means what? Say, Big Brother. They're watching you. Okay. So they're seeing what you're doing. They always say, clear your cookies. Okay. They see what you're doing, and eventually they're going to offer you something. And I've seen this a million times as well. Oh, look, I found the airfare for $325. I click 40 times to put all my information in. Okay. And then eventually I go to buy. I push the button. Oh, it's not available for $325. It's $419 now. I've been online for 2 hours. I think it's going to keep going up. So I buy it because it's not a pen. Okay. You see, oh, that's pretty weird. It disappears. I have a pen in my hand. It's like magic. Okay. It's not a pen. It's not a product that it's a moving target with price wise. Right. And that's why they can take advantage of you online. So that's the other part. So
you can't get that time back.
Yeah, get it back. Fake news. Sorry. Waste of time. They're taking advantage. They know what you're doing, so they're going to charge you more. And then the last piece is the piece that you mentioned from the beginning, and I mentioned along the way. You need an advocate through this process, because when everything crashed and burned, when we were all locked down, and people even started before that, when they saw places they might have been going that they had to get a hold of, for example, Costco Travel. Use that as an example because I got a lot of phone calls about that. And they said the whole time was 7 hours
Oh my God.
to try and cancel or
Ugh.
change your plan. That's just Costco. Okay. Let alone the online, all the online operators, you couldn't even reach them. And in a general world, like with Spirit and Expedia and many of these sites, there's no one to talk to.
Well,
at
and
all.
I've been to an all-inclusive resort that you have handled for us, and I've been to check in and watch these Costco, you know, I don't want to call anyone out, but these other type of vendors, and the check-in process. And, you know, I'm someone who likes the sun. And so I get there and boom, I'm checking in. There's, I'm with a group, and I'm watching these other vendors, and they're like waiting and waiting. And I'm like being taken through to, right through the process. I mean, it's just a different system. And
It's
trust me,
important,
had
right.
it not been, I knew who to call.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. If
Yeah.
you're, whether it's for business or
Well,
for your
I
honeymoon
want to get to my
or your
vacation.
anniversary, I want to get to my vacation. I want to
Right.
start my vacation. So let's say you get somewhere and now I booked it myself. Well, now it's your problem. So you're going to have to fight with all these people. In the case where you book it through a travel professional, through Cadillac Travel, what happens then is you send that text, you send that email, you pick up that phone, say, I'm having a problem. You fix it. I'm going to go have a pina colada and sit on the beach. Okay. Why you fix it? Thank you. Goodbye. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be
100%.
I want my vacation or when I'm traveling, I don't want to have to think. Here's the funny part. I do the exact same thing because a lot of the people in my office help me with my travel. So if I have a problem, I'll call my own office and say, fix this. I'm going to go do this. So, I mean, I utilize the
and things do happen. I mean, things happen everywhere. I know that you have a busy day booking and rebooking people. I want to talk to you about one last thing, or may go into a couple of things. Where's that? Oh, Northern Lights.
We got to do some Northern Lights because,
so that
people want to do some travel up north in Michigan, or Iceland is open, see the Northern Lights.
So that brings me back to every summer when I was at Camp Vermont. We used to sit out and you could see the Northern Lights in Canada, which we can't get across our border for quite some time.
Not yet. I think it's going to happen in sometime in July, I hope, depending on what happens here. So
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Again, with your marketing, I am on your e-blast list. I received probably just the other day some information about cruising. And I'll be the devil's advocate here a little bit with you. And a little bit because I think the news is throwing darts at the cruise lines. And you have, I find that you have a little bit of a different take on the cruise ships. So you sent out that the cruise industry is sort of coming back towards the fall. You have a special, I believe, that you're part of in the fall. The cruise industry is talking about the fall.
They're pretty much shut down to the fall.
Yeah. I've heard you say over and over that you feel really comfortable about the cruise industry. The news out there doesn't feel
correct.
They don't feel as comfortable as you. Tell me about your feeling. Okay, the Northern Lights are freaking me out. Go to the clouds.
Okay. So let me explain about cruise ships. First of all, the cruise ships have been ahead of the curve. They've been.
Okay, now you look like the anteater.
Yeah, because they've been in. I'm trying to get them out of the weeds, is what I'm trying to do here. Okay. So, nothing better than like falling on your face in fresh grass in the morning.
Yeah. But tell me, because you definitely have a different feeling about.
Because even when they had that issue, okay, where there was a few cruise ships that had, their problems when the beginning of this, and there were problems getting back in and how they were going to handle things like that. At that time, there was probably another 100 ships virtually out there in the ocean that had no problems. But two or three ships had problems, where another 97 ships didn't have any problem at all. But when a ship has a problem, it's a story, because it's going to happen to multiple people. For example, historically through the years, people have talked about how one of the problems that people run into is that norovirus on cruise ships. That's always been a story. I don't want to go on a cruise ship because I don't want to get norovirus and be sick with a bunch of people. So here's this. It's all about statistics and knowing your information. And that's my job, is to make sure I give everyone very good, accurate information. Not made up, but do my homework to make sure I'm presenting it properly and accurately. So here's the deal with norovirus. Every day people go out to restaurants. Every day. Not the last 3 months, but now we're getting back to it. The statistics are exactly the same, if not lower, on cruise ships with people getting norovirus as they are on restaurants on a daily basis. But it's not a story, because A, they don't know where they got it, and B, it could be 10, 20 people, 50 people, but no one even knows because they don't hear the story.
Right.
Okay, so statistically, you're less of a chance of getting sick on a cruise ship than at a restaurant. So let's go back to what cruise ships have done and continue to do to be ahead of the curve. They were the first ones to ask anyone, where have you been? Are you sick? And have you been sick in the last month or 3 months of where you travel to, and if you're sick? They were the first ones when all this stuff started to do the touchless temperatures. They've been for years the only ones, and I mean the only ones, to have the hand sanitizer before you even get on the ship. All over the ship, you find those hand sanitizer dispensers. You find them in front of every restaurant. They were the first to have hand washing stations before you get into their restaurants on board the ship. And if you've ever been on a cruise ship, I can tell you, more than some hotels, I see them in Vegas a lot and some other hotels, but if you've ever cruised, they are constantly cleaning, constantly, more than any place else you'll ever go, constantly cleaning. Okay, so they've been ahead of the curve. I always say, it always freaks me out because you leave your cabin and you come back and you're gone for 5 minutes, your cabin's clean. It's like, do they have like elves? Where do these people come from? It's incredible. They're everywhere.
It's like, that's how I feel at Disney World. I'm like, you never, like you don't see the garbage, you don't see any, it's like gone.
Yeah. So I mean, and I'll go back to Disney World, for example, and Disney World is opened up again, and they're being very careful in directing people and trying very diligently to make sure that they don't spike again by going to the parks. But it's an interesting, another little statistic. I was at a Disney convention because I've been an authorized Disney agency for years, and the VP of sales, they asked him a question. He goes, "How do they keep the parks so clean? How many janitorial staff
at
do you
underground
have?"
the
Right.
underground.
Well, that's why you don't see as many people,
right?
Because of the underground system that they have there. But this was an interesting information that he gave out. He said, I go, "Well, how many people do you have on your janitorial staff?" And he goes, "Let me think about this for a second." He goes, "How many employees do we have at Disney?" He goes, some crazy, let's say 40,000 or 50,000, he said, or 100,000, what it was. He goes, "That's how many people are on our janitorial staff." And everyone looked at him and go, "What?" Everyone is told that if they see a piece of paper, if they see something and you work at Disney, you pick it up and you throw it out. They're also told if they see someone at Disney taking a picture of their family or something and they don't get to be in the picture, everyone is told, from janitorial to the VP of sales to the CEO, you go and you stop that person and say, "Give me your camera. Let me take a picture of the whole family." So that's the kind of things that makes Disney that unique experience. That is very similar, ironically, to a cruise ship in regards to cleanliness, in regards to making sure your experience is heightened. They do go that extra mile. They do go the extra distance. But what you see and you hear is that there's a lot of people together. So there's going to be less people on the ships. They're going to make it safe. but I think it's going to be one of the cleaner environments you could go to.
So I think what's going to happen, and I think you're probably going to be a part of this, is that, you know, the travel agents are going to be out on the cruise ships. You'll be invited, like you always are, to see what they've done. I mean, you're usually on an inaugural ship when a ship, you know, opens up, and you usually go and do a promo kind of thing. I think that, you know, when the ships really in the fall start going again, I'm sure you'll be on a ship, or, you know, but they're going to have to do a lot of marketing to welcome back people. I mean, I certainly have seen people say, who are big cruising people, like, I'm going, you're not stopping me. That's, you know, but I think that they have a lot of work to do because of the crisis PR that they got. You know,
absolutely.
I think they're beyond the travel PR. I think they're into the crisis PR, and they're going to have to work hard to get people back. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, because they're literally, for example, being shut down more by like CDC and the WHO. I mean, they're literally saying too, until we know that groups of people and how that whole thing works in regards to groups of people, are we going to allow you to take out, you know, all these people? But they're going to do the proper social distancing and protections as well. There's not going to be a difference. And if you've been on some of the cruise ships nowadays, I mean, the largest cruise ships, 2.5 times around the largest cruise ship is a mile. So think about that. The cruise ship itself is about a 1/4 mile long. It's like a block of condos. It's bigger than resorts. And, you know, that people will go back to a hotel and resort, but you won't go to a cruise ship that's 5 times bigger or 10 times bigger. Now, I know that makes people feel like, oh my God, I don't want that many people. But I can tell you from personal experience of being on those large ships, it feels like there's 100 people on board the ship instead of thousands of people because of the way that it's set up. And when they're going to be reducing capacity, you're going to feel like there's no one on board the ship. It's like your own private yacht, which is kind of a nice experience.
Yeah. Well, I hope that what we see right now is this trend where people are excited to leave their homes, to go shopping, to go back to the restaurants. They're getting in their cars. We have 4th of July coming up. I think that we're going to see people heading up north here in Michigan. When I spoke to Barry this morning, he lives on the East Coast, and we were talking about how people are heading to the Jersey Shore, the same kind of thing. His hotels are starting to open in different cities. So I do think that people are going to get more comfortable. They have to go at their own pace, their own comfortable level. And then they're going to spread the word too, that they're comfortable. Everybody, when they travel, the first thing they do is they snap, I'm on a flight. I'm not, you know, and I think we're going to see that more and more. Like, look, there's no one next to me. You know, I'm in the back of the plane because I'm in the back of the plane and they load that way. I mean, we're just going to, you know, everybody's going to be their own little marketing. So we're going to see the really good, and we're going to see some mishaps, and, you know, and like we always do, but I think that people are going to get back to traveling, which is really good. I think more than ever, and we talked about this, more than ever, I say it all the time, you've got to use a travel agent. You've got to, you know, take insurance. You've got to understand, I'm the first one to say I have no idea what insurance I was taking, but you've got to have a relationship with a travel agent and understand your insurance. Right now, I think we're going to have some kind of second wave. Hopefully it won't be like this, but you know, we as a family like to go away in December because my kids are older. It's the one time, it's the one time a year where I kind of get them, although I've had them for 3 months.
Yeah, you've had them for a little while now.
Yeah. David knows he'll be booking them out of here.
Who knew they had a 3-month vacation?
Yeah. But you know, our family, we challenge David every December to say, you know, get this one from here, and this, you know, and, you know, where are we going to go? and he'll be getting that call soon, because we want to go somewhere. We want those memories, especially as they get older. And
So
we
this,
don't
yeah,
have a lot of time. And the truth is, we're going to have that insurance conversation, because they are also coming from all over.
right.
And so, I encourage everyone, without a doubt, to use Cadillac Travel. There's so much knowledge in that office, of places to go, where you want to go, the insurance. 100% I'm biased, but I'll say this: if you have your own travel agent that you work with, the key ingredient right now is to challenge them, and make sure that you're asking them the right questions right now about where you want to travel and getting the right insurance. And David would say that too.
But no, I think it's important for them to be asking you the right questions, right?
Yeah.
That's our job. And so to touch on some things that are important going forward, so people feel comfortable. We actually have a button on our website. As soon as you bring up www.cadillactravel.com, it says COVID-19. You click on that button. It has so many resources to check on. For example, any state or country you go to, it tells you what's the latest and greatest. So you know what's going on there. You know what's going on with the CDC, with the WHO. You know what's going on with all the different airlines, and hotels and different properties. Like, for example, they just added 500 flights last week. Delta added, and they're adding more this week. So that information, it's really robust, and we created that so you can get an idea of what's going on. And then also, we're really promoting and trying to show you options right now that will work, going back, like the idea of going up north and going on our hashtag now is Road Trip Nation, is getting on the road, seeing places, renting RVs, renting private homes, glamping, going to national parks and camping. So and everyone should know, it's important to start planning these sooner than later, because almost the whole summer at some campgrounds and places are booked.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be limited availability. And so it's going to be important also, because of the social distancing and minimizing the use of space. It's going to be more difficult to get some of these things, like in the future, getting on the cruise ships, going to certain, hotels or properties. It's going to be a little bit challenging. Also, it's kind of interesting, the idea of some of the smaller boutique properties. Imagine having a big family and you say, I want to go somewhere, but I'm worried. You can rent out the whole hotel.
Right.
You can have 12 rooms, 20 rooms. So these are things that most people don't even realize. So we got homes all over the country, all over the world, villas and homes. We have hotels that you can maybe take the whole hotel, or smaller hotels that are creating a greater safety zone. We have RVs that you can rent. We have companies that will do drive you and then set up the glamping and everything. Even there's our private RV campground in Michigan that they'll do. Chefs will come and cook for you and do cooking lessons for you. So
okay, so don't laugh. I'm the only one in my family who wants to do that.
Yeah.
But
we were just talking about it last night.
I talk about it all the time, but my kids were all such big campers, and cut the heads off fish in Alaska and everything. So they're like mortified at the thought of glamping and RV. But Mitch is such a camper, but I'm like, this is how I'll go camping, and I really want to do this. But they just laugh at me, because it is actually on my bucket list to do this.
And it's a great way to see places. These RVs are incredible nowadays, and a very good friend of mine.
I know. My kids are so mortified by me. They're like, we want like the old Winnebago, like with a tent. They want a tent with a hole in it. I want the glamping. Sorry. And I think I did the camping. I'm done. I'm on to the glamping.
Come on, under the stars. Nowadays, the RVs. RVs probably have those big move routes nowadays. So
I'm all
RV under the stars. So.
I am all in on that, and then you already know my bucket list.
I actually
I don't need the kids for my bucket list.
No. But so it's important that we that people feel comfortable, and they got to start looking. Also, if you want, there's a great video on David Fishman's Facebook page. Friend me if you're not my friend, or Cadillac Travels, friend me. We put it up on both. A step-by-step of what Delta's doing. A great 5-minute video. That's incredible. It really gives you an idea of what people are doing, and we're doing that with different vendors and things like that, as well as doing different interviews with them, so people can get more comfortable. You got to be comfortable so you can go back out and have those great experiences and not worry. That's the key.
Well, I definitely want people to head over to CadillacTravel.com and to Cadillac Travel Facebook and Instagram. Like I said, you'll get a lot of information, and I can't thank you enough. I know I took a lot of your time today, and I know you're busy, but I really appreciate it. I think it's a really important time in your industry, and that people, they got to get back out, take a baby step, just baby steps to, it's an industry that's been really hard hit, but we got to get back out there. We got to do it.
It reminds me. What was that movie with Bill Murray when about baby steps, and he tied himself to?
Was it say Groundhog Day that we've all been living in?
No, we've already done Groundhog.
I'm done with Groundhog Day. I'll let you know that.
Yeah, when he was he was afraid of sailing when they tied him to the mast, and they took him out sailing. And he goes, "I'm sailing." Wait, people are literally like that right now. It's like,
okay, so everyone
in a restaurant,
everyone watch that Bill Murray, because we are done with Groundhog Day.
We're done with Groundhog Day. That's all. We've done that enough. So,
David, thank you so much. Such a pleasure. I'll see you, I'm sure, soon. But everyone, head over to CadillacTravel.com.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye. Stay safe.